Good evening everyone, welcome back to RLH once again. We've got C4 action this evening, the last of Imola for this week and this season actually. Annoyed Gamer is out there on the mediums, so looking to go long in the race, at least for his first run anyway. Maybe he'll use this to get a few laps in and then switch to the softs later on in quali. But at the moment he's out there on the yellow walled tyre and he's already down to the end of the first sector pretty much. Through the Villeneuve chicane now, and we'll see what the first time will be. A little bit wide on the second part of the Villeneuve chicane then, and we'll just get some information up as regards C4 because I'm not fully up to speed with this tier, not one that we usually cover. So we will get the standings up now. So Goon is currently top of the standings on 280, while Annoyed Gamer, who you're currently on board with, is on 264. Both of them here this evening, so it'll be interesting to see who can steal a march with, what have we got, just 3 races remaining, I believe, after this one. So getting to the sharp end of the season, and Goon himself has gone to the top of the pile. A 15.8 is his first lap, and that's some way clear of what the others have managed on their first attempts. We've got Goran and Snellhenk in the 17s, Giano as well coming across in the mid-17s, as we've got a few yellow flags out on track. We've got one of the Alphas off down at Tosa by the looks of things. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think he might have had an incident through the Villeneuve chicane actually. And again, we've got, I think that's just Snellhenk after his lap, staying out of the way of other runners, or doing his best to do so. There's a Ferrari coming behind and a Haas, which he's been off the track by the looks of things, so doing his best on dirty tyres. But it looks like those 2 cars behind aren't running particularly quickly either. Maybe the Haas on a flying lap, the Ferrari looks to have backed out of it. It's Berlin Blues actually on an out lap, so we'll try and pick up someone else who's on a flyer. Dragos, I think, he's the Alpha that's been off actually. Goa is what we'll go with. Sorry if I'm butchering that. Don't think I've commentated on a race he's been in before, certainly not recently. But coming through the Variante Alta in the Haas then, and a little bit of traffic ahead. That's Dragos, as we've seen, running slowly. But just a couple of corners to go then. Tricky braking zone downhill into Ravazza 1, and then you're straight into Ravazza 2 to complete the lap. And already with plenty of drivers returning to the pits, so no problems of any traffic or anything like that. Goes across the line with an 18.3. That's slowest of those to set a time so far. And we've got the Crispy Business is on an out lap. Dragos back to the pits. Berlin Blues starting a lap, and the McLaren staying nicely out of the way. And we'll go on board now into Tamburello. Left, right, left through the chicane. And yeah, giving the Apex a little bit of a wide berth, and now through Villeneuve as we've got some more yellow flags up ahead. We're going to get the first sector time for Berlin Blues. It's a 25.8, and yeah, that Haas up ahead is Go, I believe. So yeah, he is most likely on a in lap, so shouldn't be too much of an issue as regards traffic. Who else can we find? Huss is, I think, is he on his second run? He is. He's going slightly quicker, but looks like he's fallen foul of track limits somewhere around that first sector. So we'll try and find another driver. Sven's still going around there, getting some laps under his belt. Philip Hogston's been finding the scenery down at Acqua Minerale as Jana comes back into the pits in the Aston Martin. We've got Goran on an out lap as well, so 11 minutes remaining, plenty of time for these guys to get their laps in as Snellhenk comes back out on track in the second of the Williams. We've got a yellow flag. I think that's Philip Hogston just returning. Well, he's been off on this lap, so whether he's returning to the pits or going straight for another one, we will see very soon. He's going straight around to start another lap. Goon as well back out on track for another run as Goran and Snellhenk, yeah, both on out laps. MB Gould, an Annoyed Gamer who is yeah, still sitting in the pits, having set his best time on the mediums. Doesn't look to have paid off at the moment. He's currently sitting P10, so yeah, he He's not really gaining much by having been out on that harder compound so far. Who have we got lighting up the timing screens? Anyone down the back yet to set a time? Crispy Business, he's not going to do so on this lap. We'll see what it was. It was an 18.0, but won't count as he's encountered some track limits somewhere around there. Dragos is on another outlap. Nath is on a lap by the looks of it, so we'll go on board as we pass the slow-moving Alfa Romeo up to Piratella. Very fast left-hander, and just about gets away with that. Running a little bit wide and over the white lines. Aqua Minerale now. Tricky little double right. Downhill on the entry as well, and then you're climbing up to the Variante Alta. Was slowed down significantly for the 2006 season. Used to be a very fast right-left flick over the curbs, but yeah, a little stale by comparison these days. And down now to Rivazza. As some yellow flags out there. I think once again that's just some over-eager marshals with drivers positioning themselves for their laps, and Nath comes across the line. It's a 17.0, puts him P7 at the moment. This is now P8 because he's just gone across the line behind him. I think that was Goran, has just gone up into P3 in the Haas. That's a 16.3, still some way off of Goon, who's quite a way out front at the moment, so certainly on a one-lap pace. Your championship leader is proving why that's the case so far this evening, and he's about another couple of tenths up through the first two sectors on this lap as well. So we'll go on board as we're going to go down the hill to the two Rivazzas and just see him come across the line. Can he increase that margin, which is currently about 0.4 of a second to Huss behind him, who actually sits third in the standings as well on 197, so not quite, unless something dramatic happens to the two at the top. He's probably just too far behind to make a late push for the title, but yeah, Goon there with, I think, purple in all three sectors, puts himself another step ahead. But yeah, only the 1 point available for qualifying in RLH, so yeah, plenty still to play out over what I believe is a 32-lap race. So yeah, a long way to go this evening. Who else can we find? Philip Hogston is returning to the pits. Infamous is he on a lap? Seems to be giving it plenty, but it could be on an outlap. We'll see as he comes across. Yeah, he's well off, so looks like he's been moving rather slowly on that lap. The other McLaren of double is also moving slowly, but there's an Aston behind him, which is not Crispy Business, it's Yano. So is he on a lap? He's a tenth down in the first sector, but that's by no means insurmountable around the rest of the lap. Hopefully double knows that and does get well out of the way into Aqua Minerale. So the Aston coming through, he's going to see a second sector time very shortly, and he's gained a little bit of time, but missed the apex at the first part of Variante Alta, and yeah, really tightened up that second left-hand part. We've lost Annoyed Gamer, and that's down at Tamburello by the looks of it, so he's lost it on the exit of the right-hander, and yeah, found his way all the way to the barrier. So that medium lap is going to be his best. He'll not do any more than that this evening. Yano goes across the line, P7, decent improvement in the end, 2 tenths up, puts him into the 16s, and Dragos behind, 16.6, puts him now up into that P7. That seems to be where people are liking to slot in. We've got a few more returning to the pits. We've got Crispy Business now. He's at the end of his outlap, and in the other Aston. Can he get a time on the board? Down into Tamburello. Left, right, left. Looks pretty decent so far. He's on all the right parts of the racetrack. Down to the Villeneuve chicane. Left and right once more. Again, all looks pretty neat and tidy. So if he can keep this up, I'm sure he'll put a decent time on the board. Now through the tight left-hander of Tosa. And now a big climb up the hill. Very steep hill up to the top of Piratella. Quick left-hander before you're going back downhill to Aqua Minerale. Elevation change on this track really is what makes it special. And now into... Oh, he's just ran a little bit wide and loses the lap, unfortunately. So it was looking good up to that point. And yeah, maybe just needs to back off a little bit. and put a bit of a banker in. He's got 5.5 minutes remaining, so more than enough time to get a lap in. A couple of comments just coming through on Discord. If you are with us on the stream as well, feel free to get your comments in there. Any predictions, of course. At the moment, you do well to predict anywhere other than Goon, but certainly for pole position, as we've seen many times, the race can be a completely different story. As Crispy Business looks like he's going again, he's not returned to the pit, so we'll stick with him in his quest to get a lap on the board. A little bit of traffic ahead now, but it's only one car, so he should be able to navigate that pretty safely. And yeah, he's certainly giving it plenty, isn't he, in this Aston? And comes through the first sector this time. Back round to Tosa once more, a little bit wide, but not too bad. So I think it's a Williams ahead. It could be Snellhenk actually. So at the moment keeping up a pretty decent pace ahead anyway, so it doesn't seem to be hurting us too badly. And he's got through Aqua Minerale this time, so just 3 corners to go. Hopefully he can keep it on the black stuff through the Variante Alta. Right and then left. Ooh, just about gets away with it, ran a little bit wide, bit of understeer through the second part, but kept it on the track, and now he's just got the 2 Rivazzas to navigate, and he'll have a time on the board coming through. That's 1 down, 2 down. He's just got to drive for the line now. We're about to see a time for the only man not to set one so far, and it's going to be a 1:17.7, puts him P13, and yeah, drops Annoyed Gamer down another position. So yeah, P2 in the championship for Annoyed Gamer. He's going to have some work to do if he's going to pick up some big points, and yeah, with his main rival at the moment comfortably at the top of the standings. Sven's just gone a little bit quicker in there somewhere. It's 15.9, joins Goon as the only driver in the 15s. And yeah, Huss is P3 in the championship and currently P3 in the qualifying standings. And there's a little bit of a lull because I think we're about three or 4 minutes to the end of the session. So pits for some new tyres, and yeah, 3 minutes remaining. So we're about to see the drivers come out for their final runs. Who can we keep an eye on? Philip Hogston in the Sol Mercedes this evening. He is coming across the line, and yeah, if he could improve by just about 1/10 of a second, he'll put himself up a row on the grid. And down into Tamburello he comes. All looked very neat and tidy, that didn't it? Looked good. And yeah, just 1 corner to navigate, and we'll get a first sector time. So it all comes at you very quickly at Imola, and that's a little too quickly for him. Loses the rear on the entry to Villeneuve, and straight into the barrier and out of qualifying. So unfortunately for him, he'll go no higher than 5th, and he has to now hope that no one improves significantly behind. And we've got a few drivers behind him on outlaps. We've got Infamous out there on mediums, interestingly. So does he feel that he can go quicker than a 16.8 on the mediums? Or is he just trying to get them, get his eye in on that tyre, thinking he may start the race on it if he drops out of the top 10? I don't know, interesting tactic from him. It is a short lap, so I think you could possibly get that many runs in that you run out of soft tyres, but yeah, we'll see what he can manage with yeah, a couple of minutes remaining in the session. Snellhenk is, I think, starting a lap, so we'll go to the final corners and see drivers as they come across, or at least we'll try to find someone that's at the final corner. Goon is starting an out lap. Sven is not. That's Nath. No, it's MB Gould, I think, that's just gone across the line, actually, P3. So yeah, missed that one. We're just trying to catch drivers going across the line, and we missed one going P3, so it's a decent step up for the Alpine driver. And Sven coming across the line, I think, to start a lap. We've got, is that Jarno? Did he improve, or has he just started a lap? The graphics aren't always the most reliable with the Codemasters, but either way, we'll do our best to keep up. So that means that's Go coming across the line. He'd invalidated that lap. Who else did we just have? That was Dragos coming across. Minor improvement according to that graphic. Skipper has just come across the line. Very big improvement for him. 4 tenths, well 4.5 tenths by the looks of it, puts him P3 and joins the other two in the 15s. We've just seen someone else across the line as well. Was that Snellhenk? It was. I think he may have improved. Might be chatting utter rubbish. Infamous comes across the line, does not improve. Nath also stays P12. So with 7 seconds remaining, if you're not on a lap now, as Infamous has retired somewhere out on track, hopefully that wasn't intentional, but either way he is very much coming to a stop in the first sector. Who have we got coming across the line to try and catch some times? We've got Double, I think, may have just gone up to P13. Crispy Business can't improve on a 17.7. We've got Go coming across the line. Did he improve on that lap? Don't think he did. Dragos is coming into the pits, so we've got a little bit of time to catch up. Huss is coming through. He's just under a third of a second up, and he has just 2 corners to navigate. Can he get himself? What does he need? He needs 3 tenths. He's very close to what he needs to put it back on the front row. Giving absolutely everything through that, so using all of the circuit on the exit. And across the line, is it going to be P2? No, he can only improve to a 16.069, which isn't good enough quite to beat MB Gould. As Goran comes across the line, will stay P6. I think Goon has backed out of it. Skipper's in the pits, as is who's that behind him? Nath, I think. So we've got Sven coming across the line. Is he on a lap now? It's not giving us a time. Either way, he's going to stay P2, and I think that's probably going to be it for this evening. No major improvements by the looks of things. Have we got anyone still on a lap? I don't think we have. We're just waiting for... Oh, we've got Snellhenk technically still on a lap, but he's returning to the pit, so we're just waiting on Nath's car to be returned after that. And yeah, decent qualifying session there from your C4 boys. So yeah, a couple of congratulations coming through for Goon on what is a very solid pole position. And I think I read somewhere about a threat of rain. I may be entirely wrong on that one, but we'll see very shortly as Snellhenk returns to his garage. We will be we'll give you classified results, and then we'll be on the grid very shortly. And finally we got to the grid there then, and we're away on the formation lap. And yeah, big question, what are we going to see in terms of the tyres out there? So the top 10 all on the soft tyres they started on. Then Infamous is going for the mediums, as has Nath. Double is the only guy out there on the hards. We usually see one of them gambling on the white wall tyre. Crispy Business, Annoyed Gamer, and Berlin Blues all on the softs and going on the mediums. And yeah, Annoyed Gamer will be hoping to use those softs to his advantage and try and come through the field. But let's just see what we've got going on. Yeah, it looks very dry and bright at the moment, so if there was a threat of rain, it's not going to be a case at the start of the race at least. And yeah, things can change very quickly, but at the moment it looks very dry and bright. Pretty swift formation lap. We're already up to the top of the hill, so yeah, a couple of corners to go. Doesn't want to be sat there too long on the grid, does Goon. At the moment it's all pretty spaced out. We can do with people, and we've got a spin from Nath and Double, so they've either come together or gone off in pure sympathy with each other. But they've not been reset to the grid as of yet, so they're going to be a long way behind. Yeah, Goon is already on the grid. And these guys are still round up at Variante Alta, so yeah, we need Nath to be getting on with it, really. And luckily, he seems to be doing just that. So yeah, it won't be too long before we've got all the cars safely on the grid, all 17 of them, and yeah, we'll be ready to get underway for 32 laps of this fantastic Imola circuit for the RLH Italian Grand Prix. Final cars lining up. There's been a bit of a wait for those at the front, but yeah, very much ready to get going now. And we've got lights finally coming on. We've got 3 of them. We've got 4. We've got 5. And it's go! Goon gets a pretty decent start, it looks like. Although Skipper got a pretty cracking one himself. Has he got anywhere to go with it? Oh, we've got Chaos down the back. Unfortunately, that's one of the Mercedes. That's Philip Hogston already out of the session. Goon leads Skipper. It's a Red Bull 1-2 into turn 1. We've got a VSC. We've got a Williams of Sven. I think that is facing the wrong way as well down at Tamburello. So, yeah, VSC, crucially, not a full safety car, but unfortunately for Philip Hogston, didn't even make it to turn 1, as unfortunately we've got more 5-second penalties being handed out. They can't seem to separate themselves whilst running so tightly off the start. So, yeah, unfortunately already we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 penalties out there as it stands, and I'm pretty sure they're all... Look at Jano's somehow ended up with 15 seconds. 10 for Dragos. Yeah, what a... Yeah, how bizarre. VSC still in action, so not back to green flag racing just yet. But yeah, when we do get underway, it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2, and yeah, fantastic start to the race for them. And they're currently trailing AlphaTauri just a little bit, so Huss is doing his best in P3, Annoyed Gamer P12 at the moment, so he's come up a little bit. But yeah, Red Bull looking very strong indeed. It's pretty much, yeah, it's very much a 2-horse race for the Constructors' title between those 2 Red Bull-owned teams. As we get the drivers coming through, we're underway and back into lap 2. So Goon leading Skipper, Huss, Gold, Goran, Snellhenk, Jarno, Dragos, Nath, Infamous, Double, Linus Stern in the 2 McLarens. Annoyed Gamer actually splits the 2 McLarens down into turn 1. Double then now P12, Berlin Blues and Goa P13 and 14. Sven has recovered to P15. Crispy Business is in the pits and he's put a set of the hard tyres on. So 2 of them out there now on that tyre, and he'll go a long way and hope to repair some of the damage from having to pit so early. Goon, though, using all of the track and a little bit more as he starts to put some daylight between himself and the field. It's 1.1 seconds So he's broken just about the DRS to his teammate, as varying degrees of energy being used to try and change that. But Huss is doing a pretty decent job, just clear of MB Gould and Goran. Yeah, they're all sticking pretty close to each other. We've got more yellows though, as it looks like Goa's been facing the wrong way. Sven's backwards again for the second time in 2 laps, unfortunately for him. And no VSC or anything this time. No damage on the Williams. Goon sets the fastest lap, as you'd expect. The first racing lap we've had, a 19.0 for him, as we finally get the DRS as well. But that will not be the case for Skipper. Too far behind his teammate at the start of the lap. Huss and Gould. This is a very close battle for the final podium position at the moment. And the Alpine driver looking pretty racy early on, and trying to make a bit of an impact on the Red Bull-owned stranglehold of the podium positions. Huss just a little bit wide, but got decent traction out there. On the throttle nice and early. At the moment, seems to be struggling to keep the pace with the leaders, and he'll do well to keep Gould behind him with how it looks. But Goran just dropping a little bit further back as well. Sven and Goa are in the pits. Crispy Business gains 2 places as a result. Berlin Blues and Double, unfortunately, they've had some incidents and have dropped off the back of the pack. Annoyed Gamer is up to P10. I wonder if he'll be wishing he'd put a harder compound of tyre on. He's made his way through the field very quickly. But maybe could have tried something a little bit different. He's about to get himself, if he can get ahead of Nate, he's back onto the sort of back of the main sort of standard strategy drivers anyway, isn't he? So he can maybe start picking his way through. It's a long way to go still as of yet, and big chance of a safety car as well. And that can sometimes catch you out. You think it's a good idea to go for the harder tyre, but then obviously the safety car's more likely at the start of the race while everyone's still in it. And just as we say that, Gould is out of the race. Dragos is facing the wrong way as well. What on earth's gone wrong down at Tamburello this time? And unfortunately for him, Double is just in an awkward position as he tries to get back. Oh, he's been disqualified for good. Oh, this. Oh, Codemasters. Oh, Codemasters. They wonder why people just throw it back onto the track in front of people and cause incidents. It's that sort of thing that unfortunately causes it. So doing the right thing, waiting for Double to come through. Maybe he could have spun it round to the right hand side in the gravel and got going again, but unfortunately don't expect to be disqualified for waiting for traffic to pass. Either way, unfortunately we've lost 3 runners now. So we're down to, what are we down to, 14? We've got a yellow flag because who's that? It's Crispy Business now had an incident down at Tamburello. He has, and just making sure he doesn't reverse back into the path of the Haas behind him. And finally gets going again. Those hards should be pretty tough and resist the temperature spike better than the softs do, but either way he's going to have to try and get them back under control. And already they're close to putting a lap on those who've found themselves in incidents. Goon though still leads a Red Bull 1-2. Huss still second. Goran is now up into P4. Snellhank is that? No, sorry, Nath and Infamous Annoyed Gamer. Has he dropped down? Looks like he's been through the gravel somewhere. Those tyres have seen better days. So maybe a failed attempt at an overtake on the McLaren, but he'll try again. And Snellhank has got ahead of Yano, who I wonder if he's been on a little bit of a detour somewhere. There was a yellow flag just as that happened. Now we'll go back to Annoyed Gamer then, right on the back of Infamous. Not got too much energy to play with, but he'll be easily within the DRS range, and Infamous is not close enough to the Alpine ahead of him to pick up the same benefit. And look, Annoyed Gamer very close now, getting a good drive out of the final corner. He should be able to complete this move. There's a lot of number 2s out there. I've seen at least 3. I think Goon and Annoyed Gamer both running the number 2, and Crispy Business possibly as well. But either way, Annoyed Gamer around the outside with DRS. Pretty simple move in the end, puts him up to P8. And what's going on? We've got, yeah, so we're just catching the back markers up the front. And yeah, Skipper doing a fantastic job. Where's he in the standings, actually? It'd be interesting to see. He's obviously doing a good job for Red Bull to be right up there in the Constructors. He's currently P5. Destroyer not racing this evening, so Skipper could potentially even look at picking up P4 in the championship, and P2 would be a very good start to pulling some of those points back. Unfortunately for him, he has that penalty from the start, but that will be, and Skipper's also running number 2. So we have 2 number 2 Red Bulls. What's Huss got? Is that number 2 as well to complete the set? No, it's number 8 on the lead AlphaTauri, and yeah, so number 2 seems rather popular here in C4. Jarno coming across the line. Pretty safe P6 at the moment. 1.2 seconds off Snellhenk ahead of him. We'll give him a little bit of a shout out as well, whereas he managed to find himself in the title race. P15 at the moment. He's just behind Double and Infamous, so there are positions to be had, definitely, with the end of the season coming up very quickly. Yellow flag, that was crispy business once again. I think he may have been letting his teammate through that on the exit of the Villeneuve chicane, but there's a big battle coming through behind him now. Annoyed Gamer's managed to get ahead of Nath, who's running those mediums, so Annoyed Gamer is up onto the back of the soft-tired runners, but then, yeah, we've got Annoyed Gamer, Nath, Infamous, all soon to be getting, well, not getting held up by, but soon to have to navigate Crispy Business, who stays well out of the way, so well done to him. And yeah, that was averted pretty nicely, wasn't it? Annoyed Gamer now has 3.2 seconds worth of clean air up to the back of Jarno. And yeah, at the front, it's all spreading out quite a bit now, isn't it? The 2 Red Bulls in control of things. 2.7 second gap back to Huss and yeah, Goran and Snellhenk. Although Snellhenk made a little bit of a mistake somewhere. Jarno's closed in quite significantly. He's used a lot of energy though, so maybe that has something to do with it. He has got himself into DRS range though, so he can use that and maybe save a little bit of energy around the lap. But going up the inside here into Villeneuve, that's going to be brave, and it looks like Snellhenk may have backed out of that one and lived to fight another day, although the back of that Williams is starting to look a little bit loose. We're on lap 8, so yeah, soft tyres won't go too much longer. Maybe if they've been spinning them up a little bit, they might just be starting to come to the end of their life. But either way, Jarno finds himself into P5, and you get the feeling Annoyed Gamer is probably going to relegate Snellhenk another position fairly soon. And we've lost Nath, so that's the other Alpine out, and we've got a full safety car this time, so that's perfect timing for your leaders on the soft tyres. They will almost certainly pit and probably put the hards on and look to go to the end at this stage. So unfortunately we're down to 13 runners, but having said that, the 2 Red Bulls, are they going to have to stack, or will Skipper go for another lap? But no, they're going to stack. And Huss is right on the back of him as well, so it looks like we're going to see the Red Bull 1-2 split up here, especially with Goran in close attendance as well. Skipper having to queue, and Annoyed Gamer actually goes through into the lead, so he's going to take that track position. Goon is going to come out where? Does anyone else stay out? No. Not by the looks of things. There's a back marker in there of Crispy Business. But, wait a minute, there's quite a few back markers actually. We've got Sven also in there behind him. So, yeah, there's at least 2, yeah, Sven and Crispy Business, both a lap down, are between the leader, Annoyed Gamer, and Goon. So how many more laps has Annoyed Gamer got on these soft tyres? Maybe 4 or 5, given a couple of safety car laps. Lap 1 was pretty much nothing as well, wasn't it, under the VSC? So, yeah, it's a gamble, but, you know, in the position he was in, he can sort of afford to take a bit of a gamble. Certainly more so than those that were running right up the front. Double's not pitted either, so he's carried on those hard tyres. Infamous has been in to put the hard tyres on. Who else? So we've got Goon on the mediums. Marginal, I think he'll have to pit again personally. As has Skipper. So both Red Bulls have gone for the mediums. Jarno also, and Snellhank as well. Berlin Blues and Sven also on brand new mediums. So yeah, personally I would have probably gone for the hards and just guarantee you're going to the end and play the race from there. If you get another safety car, then you can swap back off them. But I'd say the trick is to, as soon as you can make the end on anything, if a safety car comes out, stick it on and make sure you don't have to pit again. But yeah, Annoyed Gamer's definitely got... He's not as bad as it could be. Those two back markers are going to give him a little bit of breathing space, even if Goon clears them pretty quickly. Just the gap that two extra cars creates while running under the safety car is going to give him at least a second or two. Almost certainly going to break the DRS zone immediately. So we're on lap 10 of 32. Long way still to go. What can Annoyed Gamer manage? Are we going to see something pretty special from your second place man, I think, in the championship? Yeah, that's what we mentioned. Having had a bit of a disaster in qualifying. Just gives the drivers a bit of a break as well. You can recharge the batteries and get ready for another sprint. Who've we got down the back there? Berlin Blues has been in again. He's put new mediums on, so he's going to have brand new tyres and nicely up to temperature as well by the time he gets to the back of the pack. Are we going to see safety car in this time? It's quite possible. Crispy Business has hit the back of Sven and unfortunately picked up a 5-second penalty for that. So anything interesting we need to watch out for? Double is running right up there in P3 also, having not pitted. We've seen that. Not many that haven't pitted, but two of the top three are yet to do so. Who's coming there? That's Sven. So that's one of the back markers out of the way. I wonder if he's come in to clear a penalty, has he? Maybe. Either way, we've got another lap of the safety car. So Annoyed Gamer is... yeah, 10 laps on those. Well, it's going to be 11 laps on those softs now, although some of them have been at a slower pace. I think the safety car probably came a lap or two late. If it had come sort of lap 5 or 6, you'd probably have seen the likes of Goon and Huss in anyway. And then Annoyed Gamer staying out would probably be, you know, more feasible, but he's surely not going to have too many laps left on this set of tyres. The only benefit is he's going to have fresher tyres come the end of the race, but the likes of Huss, I think, at the moment could be in the best situation with hard tyres that will easily go to the end. He's currently sitting in P4 with two guys ahead of him that definitely have to pit, and Goon, who I'm fairly certain will have to pit, being on those mediums as well. So I think Huss could be in a very, very strong position here. And Infamous as well, the two that have pitted under the safety car for new hards. The difference with Infamous being he's right in the middle of the pack and under threat from any sort of collision once again. Hopefully we're going to get back underway this time. The end of lap 11. The safety car does appear to be making a bit of a break for it. Don't think we've seen any indication up on screen yet that it's coming in. It'd be very late if it was to, and that looks very close for Annoyed Gamer behind. The safety car is in, so if it was a late call, then we didn't see that. But either way, Annoyed Gamer straight on the restart. Didn't mess around there at all, did he? Almost overtaking the safety car as it came back to the pits. But he's away and gone, and Crispy Business is actually putting up a bit of a fight But at the moment, Goon will want to clear him, and he does stay out of the way. That's a tricky position there, and he's gone completely off the track to stay out of the way. So, yeah, gone a little bit of above and beyond what's necessary, but yeah, at least not interfering too much with any of the cars up the front. But Goon now has clear air between himself and Annoyed Gamer, so those mediums should be pretty strong. As we've got some yellow flags, that's Crispy trying to get back up and running again. Unfortunately, finding it a little difficult. We've got some more yellows as well, actually. So is that Berlin Blues and Sven having come together? Crispy is yeah, having some trouble. That Aston's been through the wars, unfortunately, hasn't it? Annoyed Gamer. We've got Skipper actually making a move on double, who's lost out quite a bit actually. Those hards haven't come up to temperature very well at all, and he's dropped a few positions. Skipper, yeah, back up to P5. He lost a couple of positions, of course, with having to queue behind his teammate, so he was unfortunate with that. Berlin Blues trying to spin it all the way around, now trying to find reverse gear as he comes through the Variante Alta. Hopefully gets it out of the way because there's an Aston coming through, and does just about manage that. Back to the front, we've got Annoyed Gamer, just about staying out of the DRS zone. He's now got to try and take these softs as far as he can go. Probably going to try and take it to the point where he can put a set of mediums on to go to the end, which will be at least another couple of laps he'll need on them, I would imagine. So this could be a straight fight, actually, between these two, because I'm fairly certain Goon will have to pit again. If not, he's going to be really stretching those mediums. So if these both have to pit again, then this is a battle for position, both on track and once the strategy is played out. But as we've said, Huss looking very strong there in what was P3. It's now, he's dropped behind Goran, who puts fresh softs on. So he definitely has to pit again because he's not run a different compound. As Infamous now dropping back behind Go as well. So a couple of the guys out there on the hards just starting to, well, not starting to, but just struggling to get the pace switched on after the safety car. But I'm sure it will come to them in a lap or two, and certainly as the softs and the mediums start to wear down a little bit, it will come back to those running the hards. Goon has got within the DRS range, so Annoyed Gamer certainly doesn't have any sort of meteoric pace. It's more, can he just keep the tyres going for as long as possible and sort of bring himself into play with a different type of strategy. He's not going to be pulling away from Goon anytime soon. It's more, can he hold him back whilst he's on his fresh mediums. As Crispy picks up a penalty. Infamous also picking up a penalty through the Villeneuve chicane. But, I think we're probably going to see a move fairly soon, unless Annoyed Gamer can get his elbows out. He's found his way to the front pretty well, though, didn't he? With that not pitting under the safety car. Gave him a little bit of time up front anyway, and some fresh air. Goon now, though, really closing in on the back of him. He'll should get better drive out of the corners as well on these fresher tyres. And Annoyed Gamer's going to have to go very defensive if he wants to keep him behind him. Ravazza 1 is always a tricky place to overtake with that downhill braking zone. And Annoyed Gamer actually getting a pretty decent run, but he's pitting. Hopefully he can get it slowed down in time. He didn't. He looked pretty hot going in. And unfortunately for him, picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Exactly what he didn't want at this stage. And yeah, unfortunately for him, he'll have that added to his time. He does come in and put a fresh set of mediums on. So Goon back up to the front. Goran is charging on these new soft tyres. Skipper now is actually closing in on Huss. So yeah, needs to get ahead of him really if he wants to push on for to try and get his P2 back, because he needs to. He may have to pit again. Either way, he needs to overtake Huss at some point if he's going to, challenge for that P2. Just about half distance, and yeah, a lot of strategies still to play out, a lot of storylines to be resolved, and there's a possibility, of course, of another safety car right up to the very end, as Goran going a little bit sideways on the exit of the Variante Alta. Down now to the two Rivatzes. 1.7 seconds behind Goon, who's actually starting to stretch that gap. So the medium's working pretty well at this stage, and it's the fastest lap of the race from Goon as well, in 18.7. There's plenty going on a little bit further back. We've got quite a train here. Between, what have we got? No, double up the front on those hards. Then we've got Jarno, Goa, Snellhank, Infamous, and that's a back marker as well, then, isn't it? Sven at the back of that. What's that? That's a move for position, is it? That's Infamous on Snellhank. And I think he just sort of rattled across the curbs on the exit as well. But, now he'll have the DRS. And those... Oh, what's going on here? Sven a lap down on lapping himself as Goa's retired from the session. He's lost it on the exit of the Villeneuve chicane. We've got another safety car. That helps Annoyed Gamer, I guess. Certainly with the fact that that's one less car between him and the leaders, because the Haas is out of the race. And it also closes all the gaps up. And he's also on fresher tyres than everyone ahead of him now. This also helps the likes of Goon, Skipper, Jarno, Snellhank, who are trying to go to the end on the mediums. It gives them another few laps at half speed, of course. The question is, does anyone up the front choose to pit Goran off those soft tyres? He needed to get those off, so it worked out pretty well for him, actually, didn't it? Managed to use those softs to get himself right up the front. And he will lose track position, but he'll have some pretty fresh tyres on. And it's going to be a set of mediums, of course. And he'll go to the end pretty safely on those now, providing nothing else happens and we don't get any more safety cars or anything like that. May just be hearing from Dragos, actually. We've not heard anything since that unfortunate disqualification earlier on. So back to the front, we've got Goon, Huss and Skipper running top three as they have been for most of this race. Sort of, well, at least before the early safety car that was the case. And yeah, just the only difference being Huss gained that position with Skipper having to queue in the pits. Dragos, I think, discussing the time penalties that were given for small contact at the start when the first safety car, the first VSC was thrown. That is an ongoing issue, really, with the Codemasters games, especially when there's a VSC or a safety car on the first lap. It's thrown that quickly that any sort of jostling for position, which is to be expected on the first lap, everyone's still side by side, any slight touch when the VSC or the safety car is out, as it's thrown, and it's just 5-second penalties everywhere. So it's yeah, it's way too trigger happy, really, and yeah, just ruins races, to be honest. It's I personally don't understand why it can't just be an option to turn off penalties for contact on the safety car. It's such a simple thing. Just have it as an option. Turn the penalties for the safety car off, and then, you know, leagues, if they want to judge safety car contacts and damage or anything like that, they can apply their own penalties if they wish, but then we don't spend 3 hours deciding who gets a penalty removed for what and wasting everyone's time. It's, yeah, Codemasters could improve so many things for the multiplayer and league racing community with some small changes, but all they're bothered about is Halloween liveries and pointless single player stuff. However, we have a race to complete. We're on lap 18 now of 32, so we're getting through it. And yeah, over half distance now. And who has... Annoyed Gamer's pitted again. That's very interesting that he'd give up that bit of track position. And he is on a brand new set of the softs, so Double's still not pitted. Why would that be the case? Why would Double not have pitted yet? He's on 18 now old hard tyres. This would have been the perfect opportunity for him to pit. So I'm not entirely sure what he's planning. Can't go to the end, of course. He has to run 2 different compounds of tyres. As Snellhank has got ahead of Berlin Blues, who I think has had a spin under the safety car. He has. So unfortunately, he drops all the way down to P10. So either way, are we going to get back up and running this time? But Crispy Business still a fair way off the back of the pack. Safety car, I think, is continuing on. Yeah, no change in the lights on the top. So we're going to go into lap 19 under full yellow flag conditions. And yeah, helping those who are marginal on tyres just a little bit more. And yeah, certainly giving Annoyed Gamer a little bit more margin with those soft tyres getting to the end as well. So he's P9 at the moment. He's got some time to make up. Double definitely has to pit, so that's effectively a net P8. His main championship rival, Goon, is up at the front still, as he has been for most of the race. So, yeah, a lot to play out over the remaining laps. And, you know, that threat of rain we spoke about, it's looking significantly cloudier. So, yeah, that could just turn everything on its head, couldn't it? I wonder if that could be part of the reason behind Annoyed Gamer deciding to come in and put the softs on. You know, if it was going to get a bit marginal on being damp towards the end of the race, those soft tyres would be the better option, of course, certainly rather than some worn hard tyres. So there's a lot of questions still to be answered, and I think we're going to get back underway this lap and start on our way to answering some of them at least. Yeah, that threat of rain gives us a lot of variables. Safety car is in this lap. Hopefully they can all stay out of each other's way until then. No more penalties would be very nice indeed. So we've got 12 cars and we've got, what have we got, just about 13 laps I think we'll have following this, and we've got rain. So that is literally, as the safety car's coming in, we've got rain. So this could be very tricky now for some of the guys out there on the hards. They've got to get them up to temperature with an ever-dampening track. Goon's gone. We're back underway. Into lap 20 we go. And who's going to get the jump behind him? Goran already seems to have got ahead of Infamous. So it's Goon, Huss, Skipper, double on those hard tyres. Goran once again getting past Jarno with his fresh mediums. Infamous down to P7. Snellhank is already coming under pressure from Annoyed Gamer around the outside of Tamburello. That would have been a pretty decent move, wouldn't it? Down into Villeneuve now. He can't quite get him. Oh, Snellhank very deep into Villeneuve. And oh, damage there possibly for Annoyed Gamer. He seems to have got away with it, actually. I wonder if it was a pretty square on hit on the end of the nose. Either way, front wing looks intact, and that track looks pretty wet pretty quickly, doesn't it? Annoyed Gamer coming through the field at the moment. What a charge this could be. He's got to be so careful though. Doesn't want to pick up any damage or unnecessary penalties, because he's got a massive tyre advantage at this stage. We're sticking on board with him as Berlin Blues is having some trouble down the back of the field. And yeah, Jarno now is the next target for Annoyed Gamer, who's got so much more grip than anyone else. Around the outside he goes into the Variante Alta. Can he get that one done? Oh, Jarno, unfortunately, a little bit of contact, and he's gone round. Yellow flags flying, of course, and Annoyed Gamer now past Double, who's really going to be struggling on those, well, pretty much 20-lap old hard tyres. Now we've got a car off ahead. That's Huss, I think, in the other of the Alpha Tauris. It is indeed. And back on track, racing with Goran, and it's wet tyres. It's got to be. It's definitely Inters. And oh, Annoyed Gamer's going to have to queue, and there's possibly some damage up there as well ahead of us. And everyone into the pits. I'll tell you what, if you'd have gambled on pitting when the safety car came back in on a set of Inters, you'd probably be leading this race right now. Either way, everyone is in for intermediate tyres. So it wasn't quite the drama we were expecting, was it? It's turned pretty quickly. We were expecting maybe some drops towards the end, and it being a do you pit, do you stay out sort of scenario. It's been pretty straightforward, actually. They've all pitted. So as it plays out, and look at Double, what a masterstroke. Maybe that's the bit we missed, the forecast. Maybe he was playing a blinder all along. Knew the weather was coming, was just staying out until it happened. So he incredibly finds his way, even with having dropped back a little bit, as others had better tyres on the restart, he's found his way with cars having to double stack, such as Annoyed Gamer and Skipper. I wonder if Skipper had damage to repair as well, because he's dropped behind Annoyed Gamer. Both of them had to stack, so you would imagine Skipper would have remained ahead. Either way, unfortunately, he's been a bit of an innocent victim once again throughout the pit stop phase, and drops now to P6 with, we're on lap 21 of 32. Goon now a comfortable lead, 5.4 seconds. He's had easy runs into the pits both times, and has stayed out of trouble, kept his track position, and at the moment looks pretty comfortable up the front of this race. Huss trying to stick with him, trying to close that 5-second gap down. Annoyed Gamer, though, is straight past double for P4, trying to maximise the points he can get. It's still a championship that's very much within his hands. He started this evening, 16 points off the back of Goon, so it will the Red Bull man will extend his lead a little bit this evening, and anything Annoyed Gamer can do to minimise that damage will stand him in good stead for the remainder of the season, which is, we've got Japan next week, and then we've got Brazil and Saudi Arabia, DLC pending, that is. I don't think we've actually seen any news on Saudi Arabia yet. It was scheduled way back when we first got Portimao. It was supposed to be released in November at some point, so 23rd of November will be the first time we will race on the Saudi Arabia circuit, providing it's out by then, which it should be. But there's, I believe, Abu Dhabi is the alternate option there. So back to the action though, and we've got some yellow flags. Who's that? This is Snellhenk, facing the wrong way on the exit of the Tosa hairpin, almost taking out his teammate as he got back up and running again. So crispy business, and Snellhenk maybe a lap down, but keeping going. All credit to them. There's points very much on offer for them. Top 15 will pick up points usually, providing they can get to the end. So it's going to be just the 12 of them as it stands. But Huss is starting to sort of creep towards Goon. It's not taking massive amounts out of him, but the gap is slightly coming down. Goran in a pretty safe P3 at the moment. Annoyed Gamer not really making too much of an impression on him for that final podium slot. And at the moment it's all pretty much spread out just a little bit. Skipper on the back of double, he'll be hoping to take that position, although with penalties as it stands you would probably do so anyway. Skipper's one of 5 drivers remaining in the race to have not picked up a single penalty, as we've lost Berlin Blues, and hopefully we don't get any more and we've got another safety car. So unfortunately every single incident this evening, apart from the one on the first lap, has been a full-blown safety car. I see no real reason why that couldn't be covered under a VSC. Either way, we're going to have the field bunched up once again as Double picks up a drive-through for speeding under the safety car, so that's his race absolutely ruined, because they'll all bunch up and then he'll have to serve that drive-through after the safety car comes back in, and that'll be what, sort of 5-6 laps left at that point. So unfortunately for Double, he's just got to bring it home now for some minor points. That promotes crispy business and Sven up to P10 and 11, which will probably become P9 and 10. Jano's picked up a 3-second penalty even with the safety car. He's been over the curbs at the Variante Alta by the looks of things. So Annoyed Gamer now, P4. He's going to be right on the back of the 3 leaders. Sorry. Huss, his teammate, has his own championship to worry about for P3. But do they try and maximise points for Annoyed Gamer, who is... I don't think Huss is mathematically out of contention yet, but it's very unlikely. He'd need a bit of a disaster for the top 2 in the championship for him to take it. How well do these AlphaTauri guys get on? Could there be some team orders? They have to clear the Haas of Goran first, because I'm pretty certain he won't be involved in any... swapping of positions. Lap 24 of 32. How stable's the weather now? Is it just going to be inters to the end? Is it going to potentially dry out again? Are we going to see some full wets? At the moment, it's falling fairly steadily, so I don't think we're going to see too much change in the next lap or two. Either way, we've only got 11 runners, so they should get bunched up fairly quickly. And hopefully we can get some decent green flag running between now and the end of the race. Goon having one of those sort of races where you just have to be patient, keeps getting his lead cut back. Remember, Hamilton's first win in 2007 was one of those. I think 4 safety cars at Canada. Every time you get a lead, it gets brought back to nothing. Can be frustrating, but you just have to keep your head, and that's exactly what Goon's done so far. Safety car goes on for another lap. We're into lap 25 of 32. I'm not sure. I imagine the DRS has been disabled. I've missed the message myself. But either way, it wouldn't be available for 2 laps following the safety car. And that safety car had a green light on it for some reason. I'm not sure why. Whether that indicates it will be in this lap, but it's certainly gone orange once again. It's usually when the lights go out on top of the safety car that it will be returning to the pits. The green light, I think, tends to mean you can overtake the safety car, but that's very much not the case because Goon is the leader. So absolutely no reason to be doing so. Be interesting to see on cold inters or colder inters who can make the most progress. Hopefully we don't lose any more cars. 5 drivers out there without penalties. They are all within the top 6. Only Double is splitting them up at the moment. And we'll just have a check-in with who's got what, actually. Double's got that drive-through, yeah. Forgot about that one. Infamous is on 3 seconds. Snell, I think 3 seconds. Jarno, 8. Crispy Business and Sven both on 6. We're all on the inters. And all exactly the same tyre life. And there's been quite a few stops this evening. Double's made just the one, but he will have to come in again for that drive-through. And the safety car's in this lap. Look at that annoyed gamer up 11, so he's doing everything he can to keep his championship alive. And that is definitely the right way to be going about it. And we don't really need any of that information at this moment, so we'll try and keep it just a little bit cleaner. We'll probably get rid of the lap data as well. We'll keep the telemetry and bits and pieces on so we can keep an eye on what they're doing energy-wise, but we're back underway, and Goon's not got the best of restarts, actually. Huss might have a run at him. Down into turn 1, he's using a fair bit of overtake, both of them are, and can he make a move? It's a big risk, wouldn't it? Up the inside of the Red Bull driver, and it looks like we're all just having to be a little bit patient. Annoyed gamer though, he's doing everything he can, and he's up the inside into Villeneuve. Maybe just try and distract Goran a little bit and attack him into Tosa. The Haas running a little bit wide. This could be a move. How bad does he want to risk it? And Huss, his teammate up ahead, could do him a real favour by getting past Goon, who has led most of the race, apart from that sort of stint after the early safety car. But AlphaTauri seem to be on the move at the moment. They're looking pretty strong in these conditions. Skipper also trying to make the best of a bad situation for him this evening. He's been very unlucky as Goran picks up a penalty, so either way, and he's off the track actually. So off the track at Aqua Minerale, and it's AlphaTauri now into second and third. That's good for their constructors as well. They're leading at the moment 461 to 436 ahead of Red Bull this evening. So earlier on it was looking good for Red Bull with a 1-2. It's now looking very good for AlphaTauri with a 2-3. You would expect Skipper to jump up to P4 with the penalties as it stands. There's still a long way to go. 6 laps still to go. However, and at the moment, what can Goon's just stretching that lead back a little bit as it stands. Conditions do look pretty stable. I would imagine it's going to stay into for the rest of the race. Now, AlphaTauri are in that position where they could think about it. However, at the moment, Huss would not be wanting to drop off the back of Goon. He's wanting to keep that pressure up as long as he can, try and force a mistake from the Red Bull driver. Lap 27 of 32, this pretty tense race has taken an extra turn. We've got a Constructors' battle to worry about. We've got the Drivers' Championship to think about as well. And these next 5 or 6 laps could be pretty crucial in what is shaping up to be a very interesting title fight in C4 this season. Goon, I think, has been a little bit wide there, and as you can see, the gap down to just 3/10 now. Huss made some progress on him through Acqua Minerale. Himself now going a little bit deep through the Variante Alta. So now we only have 4 drivers without penalties, and it's the 2 AlphaTauris and the 2 Red Bulls. So we've got yellows, that's Sven, I think, is it? No, apologies to him, that's Snellheng, who just about, I think, stayed out of the way of Crispy Business. That got a little bit scary there, didn't it? And just excuse me for one moment. Apologies there, just a little bit dry. We've got Huss, though, making good progress once again on Goon in the first part of this lap. We've lost Berlin Blues, sorry, just leaving the session there. We lost him a little bit earlier on, of course, just before that final safety car. At the moment, though, look at this, Goon really hanging on to this lead. We've got more yellows. Who's that? Is that Double? Having been through the pits, I think, for his drive-through. Comes out back in 9th place. Does maintain 9th place, of course, because Sven and Crispy are a lap down. And what can Goon manage then? Can he hold on to this lead? Can he keep his head for the remaining 4 and a bit laps? Both the AlphaTauris almost within a second of him now. This is big pressure in these conditions. We did see, of course, in qualifying that he was quite a way ahead of anyone else in terms of single lap pace. Was that a purely dry setup? Have the others compromised a little bit, thinking that this forecast was coming? And is that starting to bite Goon just a little bit? You would have expected to be out of front during the dry part of the race, of course. Maybe that safety car bunching them all up has just spoiled his plans a little bit. Annoyed Gamer can't quite get close to his teammate at the moment. It's going to be more about Huss trying to take points off Goon. Because the difference between that and stopping Goon winning the race would be greater than if they swap positions at the moment. So, need to try and get Huss past Goon for the AlphaTauri Championship. And, of course, always wanting to maximise the Constructors' score as well. But at the moment, Goon doing everything he needs to. Still got that gap at around half a second, but he's while he's been very close, Huss has never really had a out-and-out opportunity to make the move, has he? This is where Huss has been stronger, I think, through Acqua Minerale and into Variante Alta. But at the moment, look at that. Goon seems to have found a better way through there this time. And certainly through Variante Alta seems to pull away just a little bit more. It's 8/10 now, the gap. And it looks like that's... Goon seems to have it under control at the moment. Goran, despite that penalty, is trying to make the most of the final few laps of his race. And he's very much right on the back of Annoyed Gamer once again. Huss is using a bit of energy. They're all using a bit of energy. That's the advantage, of course, of it being wet. You can't use it in so many places, so you get to the main straight and use as much as you can get away with. Still half a second. 30 laps gone. 32 we need to complete, so that leaves us with 3 laps, including this one. And it's still very close up the front. And Infamous as well on the back of Skipper. That could be a battle still to play out. At the moment, Jarno and Snellheng, Double, Sven and Crispy are all pretty safe in the positions they're in. They'll just be looking to bring it home. Look, Huss is coming again. 3/10 the gap once again through the second sector. He's had a little bit of a breather, maybe recharge that battery just a little bit. And now he's very much back on the tail of the Red Bull, who's just a little bit wide through Acqua Minerale. That'll give Goon a little bit of breathing space. Huss, you feel he needs to almost just brake a little bit earlier. into the Variante Alta, get the nose in that fraction earlier as well. That's where he seems to be losing a little bit of time to Goon, and as you can see, back up to 7/10, using that energy once again. Half a second now as they come into the final 2 corners. 2 laps to go this time. What have they got in their locker? It's now or never. 2 laps to decide the winner of this Italian Grand Prix. 6/10 between them as they come across the line. And I'm sure both giving it absolutely everything. And yeah, Skipper, unfortunately, at the moment, I think has dropped out of the contention for P4. As it stands, he's more than the 3 seconds behind Goran, who seems to have that P4 in his hands at the moment. But yeah, P1 is the most important thing we've got to look at the moment. Goon's still leading, as he has for most of the race. Huss has been, well, P3 early on. Then he pitted and was looking strong, wasn't he? After the first safety car, he pitted and put hards on to go to the end. But the rain and a couple of other safety cars have thrown a spanner in the works for him and allowed Goon to come in and put the inters on. At the moment, he's just starting to stretch it back up towards the second once again. So unless Huss is saving everything for the final lap, has it stopped raining again? It looks like it maybe has stopped raining again. So it could be a little bit tricky in that maybe the tyres are starting to get a little bit warmer if the track is starting to dry out. Look at that, Annoyed Gamer is right on the back of his teammate. In fact, yeah, he's closer to Huss than Huss is to Goon at the moment. Both of the AlphaTauris have used more energy than Goon on this lap to try and close those gaps. And I wonder if the fight is just starting to die with the AlphaTauris now. Is there going to be any sort of decision to switch the 2 AlphaTauris? It'll have to be right at the very last minute, you would imagine, because they want to keep the pressure up on Goon until the final corner. The sun is definitely out. It's yeah, it's incredible how quickly the conditions have turned around, and Huss is yeah, really struggling for energy, as is Annoyed Gamer. They've both used pretty much everything at this stage. Goon has a little bit in hand, just in case they get a good run at him. But yeah, it's 6/10 at the moment. It's not going to be enough. Goon has yeah, got it in his hands at the moment, and you really have to look at it now and think there aren't that many places, unless he makes an error, that you could think about an overtake. It would be into Variante Alta, the next corner coming up, or into the first Ravazza would be your only option. And he's not close enough, but I think we're going to see, whether it's intentional or not, I think we're going to see Annoyed Gamer past his teammate here. Oh, a big slide, and that's going to put Goran in between them. They're not going to be able to make the change. Oh, Annoyed Gamer. Incredible. We've got a car off, I think, further down as well. Oh, no, it's not Skipper, is it? Oh, Skipper. He's dropped to P7. Goon, though, is going to come across the line. Championship leader takes another step towards the title with winning the Italian Grand Prix. Huss comes across second. Annoyed Gamer gets third back, but that mistake may have proved costly. May have cost him a position. Goran, with his penalty, drops back to fourth. Infamous. Skipper, actually, without the penalties, jumped back up to fifth. So managed to salvage some... yeah, salvage a reasonable position. It's probably one of the most unlucky drivers of this evening. And then Infamous P6, Yano P7, Snellhank 8th. Double coming around the final corner now. He's, I think, guaranteed P9 at this stage because yeah, Sven's already finished and Crispy Business is the last man across the line. A lap down on the leaders. So yeah, incredible conditions here as we almost ended up with a dry track once again. Annoyed Gamer, driver of the day. And out onto the podium then. It's a Red Bull driver sandwiched by the 2 AlphaTauris. And yeah, that's your top 3 in the championship as well, actually, isn't it? It's Goon, Annoyed Gamer and Huss. And not quite in that order on track this evening. But, yeah, pretty even Stevens as well in the constructors. I think Red Bull picked up marginally more points, so should just close that down a little bit to AlphaTauri. In fact, actually, no, they finished P5, didn't they? So I'd have to look at how that one works out. Some comments coming through from the drivers then, and confirmation of your order, as it looks pretty sunny out there again at Imola, doesn't it? Goon taking the win and fastest lap crucially before the rain came down with an 18.7. Huss in P2, Annoyed Gamer all the way up from 15th on the grid takes P3. So either way, even with that late mistake possibly costing him either a run at his teammate or a chance to swap positions, it's good damage limitation from him, Goran, Skipper, Infamous, Jarno, Snellhank, Double, Sven and Crispy Business, and then your non-finishers were of course Berlin Blues, Goa, Nath, Gould, Dragos and Philip Hogston. Didn't even make it to turn 1 unfortunately. And that's it for this evening. Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, that's it for Imola actually this season. We'll be back next week, next Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday with action from the another fantastic circuit at Suzuka. So yeah, join us then. And yeah, thank you once again and good night.